DOMINICK CRUZ breaks down Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. The two are set to fight in a rematch on UFC 304 in England. Most popular prediction regarding the bout among the fans on social media has been Leon's somewhat of a dominant and easy victory. But aside from a technical analysis of the fight, the fans' hatred toward Muhammad, due to different reasons, also plays a role in the sentiment. Whatever the public's preference is, however, for a fighting style and personality, Leon is a definite favorite in this matchup. So let's dive into a more detailed technical analysis of how Leon might pursue this fight and neutralize Muhammad's attacks. DOMINICK CRUZ, one of the sport's best technical analysts, shares his thoughts about this subject. Quote, "In the first fight with Belal Muhammad, what did some real damage to Belal Muhammad was pressure. He kept Belal going backwards towards the fence the whole time, and the stance switch is the thing that helps him do that. It makes him so much longer than the people he fights because he's a southpaw, and when he fights orthodox fighters, he uses that length. If his opponent is southpaw, Leon himself will start switching stances back and forth to force his opponent to be constantly reading him. Leon will use the inside low kick, the high kick, and he will keep his hands on, always heading you off. He also keeps a good distance. So, one of the things you see when Leon Edwards fights is that when people shoot on him for a takedown, he can instantly get his down blocking game because he keeps such a big distance between him and his opponent. He down blocks, then pulls you up to the upper body, and now you got nothing. What's so fascinating about the sport these days is that basics are what's winning, and Leon Edwards is a world champion at basics. He doesn't need anything fancy because he's so good at keeping that space." End quote. Kamaru Usman talks about getting back to competition in the UFC and shooting for reclaiming his welterweight title. The Nigerian Nightmare last fought on UFC 294 in October against Hamzat Chimaev, losing a closely contested 3-rounder. The result of that bout put Kamaru in somewhat of a difficult position, as once regarded the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, is now on a 3-fight losing streak, having lost previous 2 fights to Leon Edwards. He was in good form in all of those fights, however losing 2 decisions to Chimaev and Edwards and getting knocked out by Leon in the first loss of this streak, a fight in which he dominated up until the knockout. So it's safe to say Kamaru isn't done yet, and his ambitions haven't yet burnt out, something the former champion often speaks about himself. And lately, he's been vocal about his intention to make a grand comeback to the octagon. On his podcast with Henry Cejudo, Usman laid out his intentions of resuming competing in the sport, keeping in mind the upcoming welterweight title fight between Edwards and Muhammad, saying the following, quote, "Listen, I'm not cheering for anybody. The fight happens whether anyone likes it or not. First, I'm going to do what it takes to earn that title fight, and that fight's going to happen. Like I said, the boogeyman is on a sabbatical right now. That's all it is. I still got tread left in these tires. And I'm going to show that I'm one of the best in the world right now. I don't really care. Whether it's Leon, I've already beat Leon, I've been there and done that. I've obviously shown that I can beat Leon. Whether it's Leon or Muhammad, it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of guys in that division right now that are exciting. You've got myself, you've got Jack Della, Shavkat, Venom Page, Ian Gary, Gilbert is still there. Colby Covington is still there. There's a lot of exciting guys that are still in that division. So it is what it is. When I'm off sabbatical and I'm ready to come back, I'm gonna come back and do my thing." End quote. Kamaru also shared his enthusiasm about the upcoming UFC 304 card. Quote, "This weekend, it's gonna be an exciting fight, and I think the people are in for a treat. It's a great card. I think the UFC did justice to that card by getting some of these fan favorites, Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann on this card as well, which is gonna add to the craziness." End quote. Shocking news just leaked into the space of Russian MMA media after Jon Jones' former sparring partner, who recently reunited with Jon to get him ready for a fight camp before Jon's next fight, which is still unannounced, revealed that Jon was brutally knocked down in sparring and went crazy on the sparring partner afterwards. Rustam Khabilov, who spent years in Jackson Wink Academy as one of Jon's primary sparring partners for multiple fight camps, has previously shared a story about Jon getting knocked down with a liver kick, and Jon himself later acknowledged the incident and even named the fighter that caused him the knockdown, Adlan Amagov. Well, history definitely has rhymed in this one, as in a recent interview, Khabilov revealed that recently Jon had another unpleasant encounter in the gym, not too dissimilar from the famous liver kick story. This time, however, a piercing knee directly to the ribs caused Jon to collapse onto the mat. Khabilov described the incident, saying the following, quote, "This time, I saw it myself, you know? The last time with Adlin, I was in the locker room already when I heard something happened, so I didn't directly witness it, but now it was in front of my eyes. So we were all sparring, and Jon was not too far away from me, so he was in my line of sight. I saw how he got kneed right into the right side of his ribs. All of a sudden, everyone close to him went quiet and stopped sparring, at which point I looked in his direction, closer, and saw him kind of collapsed on the mat. He was in pain. It was a brutal knockdown in a sparring session that he was easily winning and, to be honest, playing with his partner. I guess he lost some focus momentarily, and that was enough. That knocked him out of the sparring sessions for that day, obviously, because I think he broke his ribs. It was serious. I can tell you the kid who got that knee off won't be relaxed for some time. Jon won't let that rest. He doesn't like to lose even in sparring, so some interesting sessions are coming in once he's back in the gym." End quote. Chael Sonnen reacts to news of Conor McGregor having fully recovered from the injury sustained on his foot, and what that means for the future of the Irishman in the company and as an active competitor in general. In his latest media appearance, Conor shared his vision to come back to fighting by the end of this year, still having the Michael Chandler matchup in sight. Chandler has also commented on the situation, stating he will patiently wait for Conor, now that McGregor's injury has been reportedly fully healed. The whole process of getting him back into the octagon might get accelerated, but the main focus for the American gangster was McGregor's allegedly fake foot injury, which, as Chael believes, was used to cover up a different issue that Conor doesn't want leaking to the press. Chael Sonnen unpacks this all. Quote, "Conor McGregor and his toe." So the headline comes out saying Conor's injury is behind him. Conor himself came out and said that the foot is fully healed. So as soon as the wheel spins and you see what color the ball lands on, the roulette bet gets very obvious. If you had the benefit of the hindsight, do you stick with the toe injury? I thought the toe injury was fake from the beginning. I thought Conor was in rehab. I told you guys, the toe injury is garbage and he is in rehab. Apparently, he's in rehab for the toe. They're rehabbing an injury to the toe, and not any kind of a substance, apparently. His discolored pinky toe, which may or may not have been broken, doesn't explain the absence of a press conference. Could you keep your stay in rehab quite? Or breaking your pinky toe in practice? Can you have that type of an injury as an elite athlete? And in today's social media world, it doesn't escape the gym, or could you find a rehab facility that is strong enough and confidential enough? It's a mystery. And I just wonder, in hindsight, if you could do that again, would you go with a damaged pinky toe? End quote.